welcome to Punky's World. This is another genealogy video because I wanted to tell you about one of my ancestors, my third great-grandfather. He was a prominent physician, he was prominent in politics, graduated from Bowdoin College in Maine. He was from Maine. His name was Dr. Parmenas Dyer. There's actually an article about him that appears in American Heritage magazine in 1978. I have actually just today sent off a message to a gentleman who actually has that copy up for sale to see if you might be willing to make a copy of my great-great-great-grandfather's picture, which appears in the magazine and the article as well. I've only seen a piece of the article, so I really would like to see that. Why is my battery almost dead? Anyway, he was a surgeon. He was an examiner for the U.S. military to determine whether you could get a pension. In the article, as I understand it, and I've only read an excerpt, they talk about him doing seances to talk to his mother. And they say that in the picture, her face appears on his coat. Oh my gosh, I'd like to see that picture. And I know my mother wanted to see that picture. But now I have found someone who actually has a copy of it. So I'm hoping that he'll be kind enough to do that for me. I will keep you updated on that. It says I should hear back within 2 days. He was sued over the sale of bond certificates. Evidently, he said he had the right to sell the certificates or whatever, but somebody disputed that. I couldn't find it the second time through, but this is so apropos for today and everything that we're going through. If I had his picture, it would be right here, but I don't. Back in 1871, the state of Maine put Dr. Dyer in trouble. Oh my God, on trial, for gosh sakes, because a woman pressed charges because he performed an abortion on her. Pardon the language, it's old. It says, on report, indictment against Parmenas Dyer and Benjamin F. Morrill for maliciously and without lawful justification using an instrument by forcing, thrusting, and inserting into the body and womb of the wife of Morrill with intent thereby to procure her miscarriage, she being pregnant with child. There was another count alleging that the use of the instrument was not necessary for the preservation of the life of the woman. The presiding judge, in accordance with state blah blah blah, reserved for the determination of the full court in the following questions. Is the wife of said Benjamin F. Morrill a competent witness against both respondents on a joint trial of said respondents? I'm reading you the actual, and I will put a link to this in. It's the actual case law. Is she competent witness against said Parmenas Dyer on a separate trial of said Dyer with or without the entry of a nolle pros as to said Morrill? Not sure what that means. Maybe not prosecuting? I'm not sure. Theo B. Reed, Attorney General, and P.H. Stubbs, County Attorney for the state. And then more case law. Does not change the common law so far as it is applicable to this case. When the offense charged touched the person of the wife, touched the person of the wife, she be witness Lord Audley's case, bunch of case numbers. The reason is that there are cases where she may be the only witness capable of testifying. Wakefield's case, blah blah blah. they because this is a case law, they recite other case law for lawyers to look up. No assault is alleged or attempt to do personal injury. It is not something, charged. I'm sorry, it was cut off. That the wife did not consent. It is presumed that she procured her husband to assist. Public policy claims that the confidence subsisting between husband and wife shall be sacredly protected even after the marriage relation ceases. Really? So even after a divorce, you're still held, you can still hold spousal privilege. That's interesting. I've never seen anybody actually try to use case law, which they pointed out, actual case law, where spousal privilege had to be held up even after a divorce. And this also says it does. So that's two case laws right there. I don't know why someone of a divorced party never tried to go after that. Anyway, the charge in the indictment is, in substance, that the respondents, jointly intending thereby to procure the miscarriage of the wife, did use a certain instrument in the hands of Dr. Dyer, by forcing, thrusting, and inserting the said instrument into the body and womb of said Hannah, who is the wife of Morrill. There is no change in the rules of the common law in relation to the competency of husband and wife as witnesses for or against the charge. For or against I can't read it, it's cut off. But anyway, without and against his consent or wishes. Against her husband without his consent or wishes. It was found by sad experience that the rule in its rigor and absoluteness failed to protect the wife from the assaults and cruelties of the husband committed in secret or when no other person was a witness of the outrage. The rule was modified to give her protection against actual or threatened personal violence and injuries. The object and purpose of the exception measures the extent of it in a given case. Injury, I love how they spelled it. Inquiry must be what is the nature of the offense charged. And it is one implying personal violence to the wife. If so, she may be a witness not only to obtain security for herself, but also when he is charged by indictment with an assault. It is urged that from the nature of the charge, her assent must be implied. Okay. Basically, down here, although the wife may have in fact submitted to the operation, if that submission was obtained by and through the power, influence, commands, or even the persuasions of the husband acting in his marital relation, and the offense was consummated on the person of the wife in the presence of the husband, both the legal presumption before stated and the actual facts justify us in applying the benefits of the exception in her case. The offense is clearly one that includes the elements of personal violence to the wife, and whenever that appears, the wife may as well be admitted to testify. Now, there's actually more to it. I'm trying to find, because it also said somewhere, I must not have copied the whole thing when I did it, that ultimately the outcome of the case was that because the husband gave consent, it didn't matter whether the wife gave consent or not, because she was his chattel. It's an old word for property. Because she belonged to her husband. And you have to remember, folks, this was 1871, and believe me, she belonged to her husband. So, which is strange, because I don't think abortions were exactly legal then. To think that this man was my great-great-great-grandfather and held in such high esteem, you know, and did this to a woman? You know, I'm sorry, but whether you were trying to kill her unborn child or not, you raped this woman with an object. That's what it comes down to. And I just think it's awful. You know, I mean, he founded political newspapers, and he was a prominent surgeon. He was the examiner for the United States military in the state of Maine to determine military pensions. I mean, yes, he did all of that, as stated at the beginning of the video. But damn, man. I wonder what other things, and of course the sale of those bonds, which was questionable at very least. It was bonds, surety bonds, I think they were called, something like that, to sell a house anyway. And they supposedly gave him permission to negotiate the sale. He went to Boston to negotiate the sale, and somebody got ripped off. So once again, he found himself in court, and I believe, yeah, he wormed his way out of it again. So I'm sure he had the most high-priced attorneys you could have in the state of Maine at the time, for this case and for that one. So, let me tell you about him just from the beginning. He was born in Maine. Let me give you the exact date, because I have it right here. Let me give you his dates. Tree. He's the last person I looked at in the tree, so it'll be right here. There it is. Profile. Okay. He was born on the 20th of May, 1822 in Windsor, Maine, and he died on the 20th of November, 1891 in Farmington, Maine. I'm not sure where Windsor is, but I assume that it's in that same general area. He married twice. Married Hannah Whittier Baker, who had his two children, Charles and Frank. Frank was my great-grandfather. He abandoned that family in Kansas, because they went to Kansas because of his political messes, and went back to Maine. She literally walked back to Maine. No word of lie. 2 babies in tow. Don't know how she did it. I don't think she walked all the way back. I think she got help along the way. I could be wrong. Been a long time since I read the article. The article was written when this woman was almost 100 years old when she died, if not over. Again, his son Frank was my great-great-grandfather, 1859 to 1918. Frank actually died of a ruptured appendix, which caused him to become septic. They didn't have antibiotics back then, nor would I have wanted to be quick to have an operation in 1918. But his second wife was Anna Prescott. They did not have children. His son Frank, we'll click on Frank. His parents, by the way, were William Dyer and Hannah Fairfield. Oops. I clicked on the wrong one, you dummy. Okay. His son Frank married Josephine Farrington, or Emily Josephine Farrington, or Josie, or whatever the heck her name actually was. And we cannot find any record of the marriage, of her death, of her birth. Nothing. We see her name on the birth records of her children, including my great-grandmother, Hazel Dyer Cox, and my great-aunt, Maud Josephine Dyer Cox. See, Maud and Hazel married brothers, Edson and Bertram Cox. So we don't know anything about Josie except she was born in 1865 in Maine. In Jay, Maine, we're pretty sure, although we don't know for sure, but it looks like April of 1865, according to the census. Jay, Maine, to Gilman Farrington and Abigail Ann Bolton. That's really all we know. Would love some help there because she's as big a mystery as Patience Burgess is. Except that we actually know who her parents were. But that's all we know. Because we can actually find census records, although census records back that far are virtually useless. Because, I mean, they're not completely useless. It's just that when you go before the 1880 census, okay, the census started in 1790. If you go from 1790 up to 1870, every 10 years, those censuses are not very good in terms of telling you, like, it will have Gilman Farrington, and it will have his wife, and it will have the kids. But it says nothing else, just the list. And sometimes it doesn't even tell you on some of them who's who. I know Gilman's the head. I know who his wife is. I can tell by their ages. And then you got the kids. If their ages are even listed, in some of the censuses they're not. It is insanity that I want to know about my great-great-grandmother, and I want to know about my great-grandmother on the other side. Those are my two big brick wall mysteries. So any help would be greatly appreciated. I actually found Gilman and Abigail's stone. It goes around, comes down, is connected, goes around like it's two stones, but it's connected. It's one stone with two bumps, if that makes sense. So at least there's that. I ran straight into that at the cemetery when I was up in Maine the last time, so that's a good thing. And there were other Farringtons there, and I did actually find another sibling. So finding Josie and finding her death record, we have called every town in the stinking area to no avail. We have looked in the newspapers to no avail. I mean, nothing. Where is this damn woman buried? I didn't see her buried with her dad and her mom and aunts and uncles and all those people that were buried there. And I think some of her brothers and sisters were buried there too. But I didn't see her buried there, because if I had, I probably would have passed out. And you bet your life I would have taken a picture to get the dates. So yeah. But I hope you enjoyed my story about my great-great-great-grandfather and the mystery of his granddaughter. My great-great-grandmother. Oh no, I'm sorry. His daughter-in-law. Oh my God. The mystery of his daughter-in-law, my great-great-grandmother. I guess my great-grandmother didn't really know her because she was very young when Josephine died. The best we know is that she died of kidney problems, which is what my great-grandmother died of. My aunt is in end-stage kidney failure. My mother died of kidney failure due to sepsis. So yeah, I have to take care of the kidneys of God. So, and we were always told that. When my grandmother was in kidney failure, we were told that. That none of the women in our family should donate a kidney. Because we're going to need them both. So, thank you for taking this journey with me. And hopefully, you can help me with my other brick wall. I will post a link to Emily Josephine, that's how we have it written, in the description here. I will also post a link in the description to the article so that you can read the article, case law. That's why I was able to read the whole thing to you, because it's case law. So it's not a copywritten article. But if I do get a copy of that article and that picture, oh my gosh, I can't wait to show it to you. What I'm going to do is put it in one of those plastic sleeves to protect it. My mother always wanted that. We never found anybody that actually had a copy of it. And I ran into that today. So I said, I'm writing to this dude. I also haven't heard back from the archivist at the library, but I did talk to the librarian today. This is another historical matter. That's why I'm putting it in this video. I will let you know when I hear back. The lady at the library is going to poke the archivist, she said, a little bit. I told her I can't exactly walk up the stairs right now. And the librarian was nice enough to let me keep my DVDs until October 10th. Because they're actually supposed to go back in like a week from when they're taken. And it did auto, renew till the 26th. But she went on and overrode that and did it till the 10th to give me time to heal enough to walk up the steps. And she said, and if by then you still can't walk up the steps, we'll figure something out. So that was very kind, and I appreciate it. And after my friend comes, I am going to go curl up and read my book. So I'm going to go in my room early tonight, I think. I already had my main meal of the day, so I can have something else later. I made a very unique meal. I took out some frozen spaghetti sauce, and instead of making pasta, I poured it over my leftover mashed potatoes. My leftover sour cream and chive Bob Evans mashed potatoes. That was excellent. I gotta remember that trick. So, okay, yeah, my battery is dying. That's okay, because I was done anyway. Thank you so much for joining me again here in Punky's World. If you want to become a permanent part of Punky's World, just hit that subscribe button. It's free. Hit the bell for all notifications so you're notified each and every time I upload a video. Have a wonderful rest of your day. God bless you. Bye-bye.